First and foremost, we thank the Creator for another day of life. We thank the Creator for giving us the opportunity to have life. And not just life, but we thank the Creator for consciousness. The consciousness to know that you're supposed to thank the Creator. The consciousness to know that you are not the source of your energy. This is extremely important. You know, with everything that's going on in the world, it's very interesting to me as I was sitting here and I watched an exchange of a conversation between two people, two women. And it was a very brief conversation, wasn't long. Just one said, "I like the way that dress looks on you." And she returned the compliment saying, "And I like the dress that you're wearing as well." And I couldn't help but to smile at it and say, wow, this is a beautiful thing, right? This is good. But I thought to myself, why do we care if people like or dislike whatever it is that we are? I'm sitting here with Zakiya right now. Zakiya, how you doing?
I'm well.
You doing okay?
Yes.
And I wanted to have a dialogue, and it's something that I want you all to think about, something that I want you all to consider, is why do we care how people feel about us, including myself, as a quote-unquote public person. You know, sometimes what people say, it can hurt my feelings. Sometimes I'm sure with many of you, what people can say, it can hurt your feelings. But the question is why. So I'm going to say a few things, but I want to ask some questions to Zakiya, get a woman's perspective on why do you think that people care so much about how others feel about them?
I think it may just be human nature. Even starting from an early age when you're a child, you might say, don't wear that. You know, people are going to look at you like you're crazy, or don't wear your hair like that. So I think it's something that's almost taught to us.
Do you think that it affects women? Like, in what way does it affect you as a woman? Because, you know, you have this standard of beauty, this standard of what a woman is supposed to be and what a woman is supposed to say. You know, James Brown said something really good. He said, "This is a man's world. This is a man's world, but it wouldn't mean nothing without
a woman or a girl."
A woman or a girl. So, how does it affect you as a woman, this American standard of beauty?
Oh, for me, it doesn't affect me too much. I define my own, what I feel is beautiful. There's so much diversity. So to just try to have one thing represent what beauty is like silly.
But do you know that there's a lot of women who feel differently about that? And some women who, you know, kill themselves, starve themselves, and maybe even commit suicide because they feel like they're not beautiful.
Of course, once again, that goes to your own esteem and what you're taught. If you're taught from an early age, like, oh, you're beautiful, and you're told that, and, you know, it's affirmed to you, it's not like, oh, your hair is nappy, we need to put a perm in it, or, you know, or straighten out your curls in a hot comb. If you're already taught to love yourself, then you don't really conform to what society deems as beautiful.
That's a great point, man. That was really beautiful. We got to give that right there, that comment, I think is extremely, extremely important. And a lot of people, you know, don't fully understand that. But the reality is that we live in America where the standard of beauty, at one point at least, was this slim, white or close to white woman. But now you have, you know, the Kardashians, and you have, you know, the quote-unquote foreign woman with the big butt and big lips. That has become beauty now, which is interesting because for so long, many black women have looked at themselves and felt ugly, and now in America, every black feature is now considered beautiful or considered the quote unquote thing. Why do you think that is?
I mean, it just evolves. It's like if one time it's, you have a slim nose and a slender body, that's beautiful. And then now it's having a big butt and everybody's rushing to get these surgeries and risking their lives just to, I guess, be the quote unquote standard of beauty. I think it still goes to like self-love, really loving yourself and being taught to love yourself and valuing who you are. Everybody's beautiful. Everybody has their own beauty. So you don't have to try to look like a Kardashian or whatever it is that you feel like is beauty. Just be yourself.
That's a great point, man. That's a great point. As I was just sitting here and I was just thinking, as I looked at this conversation between these two women, just a small, compliment to one another, and it made them smile, and it made me smile. It made me smile to see these two black women, older black women, complimenting each other and them feeling good about it. But then what I thought about was, why is it that we feel so good when others like us? And they only like us based upon their experiences, right? So let's say, for example, you went to New York and you didn't have a good experience with New York. Maybe you feel a certain type of way about New Yorkers. So then you meet me and I'm from New York and you I don't like you. But it's not based upon anything I did. It's based upon your own experiences with New York, or with a black person, or with a white person, or with a Muslim, or with a Christian, or whatever. But when we base how we feel about ourselves on somebody else's experiences or on somebody else's view of idea of intelligence or beauty or whatever, it says that Albert Einstein could not even read. He was considered a slow learner. You know what I mean? So it's like we can't base ourselves off of other people. Now, that's easier said than done. Don't get me wrong. I battle with it myself. When people talk about me or say things about me or say this or say that, I battle with that myself. But, anytime that we take a moment and see a lesson, whether you see ants working or you see bees flying or you see dead leaves on the ground, in the Quran it says that there's signs in nature for those who reflect. So anytime that you get a moment to just be able to reflect and gain a lesson, that's a gift from God. So in closing, why do we care? Why do you care why people think about you? Why do I care? We care because we're human beings and we really depend on one another, don't we? We depend on each other. Even as a baby, you depend on your mother to feed you. You depend on your father to guide you. You depend on other people. And even as adults, we depend too much on others, when in reality, we should only depend on the one who created us. And if we depend on the one who created us and depend on what his version, what's God's version of beauty, what's God's version of intelligence, then you and I will recognize that whoever you are, no matter how dark or how light, how short or how tall, or what way of life you follow, you will know that you are beautiful. You are beautiful because God don't create nothing ugly. He only creates beauty. And when we begin to live on God's definition and not on human beings' definition, which is flawed, then that's when we will be successful. May God bless you. May God guide you and guide me and strengthen us all and protect us. And may we really look inside of ourselves and see the greatest of our human potential, which is what God put inside of us. May God bless you and God guide us all. Peace.